another friend, Michael, who was flipping houses in Indianapolis. So I'm like, Michael, let's go to Indianapolis. Let me know next time you're going. So I get on a plane and I go out there with him, and we go to this place in Indianapolis, and it's not a great neighborhood. It's a bit of a dead end. It's kind of right down by Indianapolis Speedway, and it's kind of blocked off. You can only get into it from like 2 directions. And it was kind of like the neighborhood, the houses we're in weren't bad, but you had to go through a real rough part of town to get there. So that was already like a bad feeling, and Michael's like, this isn't going to end well. And we open the places up and they smell. And this is a place that's just been renovated. And sure enough, we go through and we end up calling these people in California and telling them, like, I know your contractor, you spent this much money, you spent $20,000 on your contractor, but this hot water tank is not hooked up to code, and this is not done right, and this is not done right. And the guy had only kept them informed via YouTube videos. Like every week or whatever, they got another YouTube walkthrough of their property as the renovations were undergoing. And it's like, I'm all for doing some stuff hands off, and I'm all for delegating, but that's just a little bit too much to purchase a place sight unseen, to have your contractor that you've never met do all this work, and to just rely on YouTube. That's pushing my comfort level, and I'm pretty risk tolerant. So that was a horror story there. So I ended up, of course, not buying those places. They weren't worth what they said they were, because the contractor had essentially ripped them off. So I found that flipping in Winnipeg was a good way for me to generate cash, and it lets me have a full-time job where I live. I'd like to encourage everyone here, if you're not already in it full-time, you can gradually work your way towards that. If that's what you want to do. If you love your day job, keep doing it. That's fine as well. But the thing I would say most of all is get a partner. Because if you don't have someone to do it with, if you're lucky and you have a spouse that's on board, hey, all power to you. I'd say beyond that, even if you and your spouse are on board together, get another partner. Get a partner who's outside of the marriage, because that's just, it's like when a married couple, they're almost like the same person, they're too tied together. So I'd encourage you to get somebody else who doesn't live in your house. But just get started. And we talked already, earlier, lots of stuff about funding deals. There's nothing in here that I really wanted to say other than that almost all my money is private. I've got money from my friends. I got money from my family. We've got promissory notes out there. We've got private mortgages. We've done everything but RSP, and that's just because we haven't gotten around to doing the paperwork yet. I've got seller financing. That's easy enough to find. You just ask for it. 1 in 10 will actually say sure, because they're motivated to sell. If you're looking at the right properties, if you're looking at places where there's water damage and the ceiling has collapsed because they didn't clean out their eaves troughing for 5 years, well, not many people want to buy a house where the ceiling is collapsed. So I can get a vendor take back. Somebody's foreclosing on a place where the person hasn't paid them their private mortgage in 2 years. They're motivated. They want to get out of the property. They'll give you 20% vendor take back so that you can go out there and then just get a conventional loan for the other 80%. And if you deal with the right lender and the right mortgage broker, that 20% is all the money you need to put down. So I just bought a house 100% financed. So the vendor's doing 20 and conventional lender will do 80. And I already have someone to sell it to when I'm done renovating it. My partner's wife is buying it for their niece. It's like, there's my exit strategy. I already have the house sold. I haven't even bought it yet. But my buddy Troy that I mentioned on that first slide, he's a joint venture partner. He came in pre-qualified with a big fat mortgage. So okay, right away we'll stick him as the first on there. Al goes out and gets a second. And there's our construction financing. And that's the house that we just finished the other day. And looking forward to having that one sell. So. But all my partners want to keep working with me because I pay well. The person who puts in the money gets half the deal. We pay everybody, my friend Rena, she's getting 12% on the construction financing she's giving to us. That's on a note. You know, my mom, we're paying my mom 10% because she knows where I live. You know? But hey, why wouldn't I ask my mother for money? She's like, I'm taking your sister and her kids to Disney World in spring break in March. So she goes, I need the money back by March. But what's she gonna do with the money between now and March? She'll get all of 1% at the bank. So why shouldn't I give my mom 10%? It's win-win. I get the money for some construction financing. My mom gets 10% on money that she would have got 1% on. You know, the difference is, you know, that pays for taking all the kids out for dinner when they're in Florida for like a week. So why not do that kind of stuff? You don't know if you don't ask. You know, and I've, you know, in the last year I've taken to asking. And a lot of people approach me now that I didn't even realize. So everybody, you know, knows somebody that has money that is very disappointed with the returns they're getting. You know, somebody's got an RSP that's lost money in the last 5 years. I mean, ultimately, almost everybody I know has lost money on their RSPs in the last 5 years.
I looked into getting RSP loans to go into the States, but from my understanding, you can't, it has to be a piece of Canadian, real property in Canada, on Canadian soil.
Yeah.
For any RSP going to the state, other than doing it to yourself or whatever that, I'm not sure what that happens.
Yeah, well, that would work just fine for me because I have Winnipeg property too, so
Yeah.
take the, you know, I've got money on the Winnipeg property that if you gave me money from your RSP onto my Winnipeg property, I can still pay you, and then I'll take the money, the equity that I had in my Winnipeg property, and I'll take my own equity then and go and put it on my Minneapolis property. So there's always a way to structure it if you've got property in both countries.
Right.
You know, it can be done safely, it can be done legally. You know, you just have to have, you know, a good power team that understands what you're trying to do. What else? Let's see. I think I've already talked about all this stuff. So, yeah. If anyone wants the slides, let me know.
Sure.
Certainly be willing to do that. I did want to make mention of Tony Jury. It's something that Farmer Logic is putting on. I did the videotaping for Tony in Vancouver where we did strategic planning and strategic life design. And I'm sticking around. It's not this weekend, it's the following weekend. But Tony is an exceptional trainer and strategist. He's doing branding and marketing, which I believe is $2,500. He's doing negotiation, which is another $2,500, or you can come to both days for $3,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that is? Yeah. Okay. The guys at the table at the back, I was very impressed. You know, I've seen a lot of people talk. I've gone to a lot of seminars. I've spent probably close to $80,000 of costs across all those real estate courses I've taken in my life. And I've spent another $100,000 getting an MBA. And Tony is up there with the very best people I've ever heard talk on this. And I can see why you can get $12,000 a day from somebody, you know, at Ford or Walmart. So yeah, no one I've ever met has lived his life with that much intention and that much planning. Almost everything he does is planned. Almost everything everyone does is in reaction to. We're just doing what we can to get through the day. He spends almost all of his time thinking about it first. It's pretty crazy. And he can teach you how to do a lot of that stuff too. So, anyway, you know, I know people have been very good about asking questions all the way along, but if anyone had anything at the end, again, there's a million things I didn't talk about. So if you're serious about US real estate investing, if you want to invest close to home, like again, I have friends who are invested in Rochester, which is close to where most of you live, and would be another similar to Minneapolis type market where you can get in the car and drive there instead of having to fly. I've got lots of contacts to lawyers, accountants, all that kind of stuff that, you know, there's no sense in sharing it, having people scribble it down. If you want it, send me an email, pick up the phone, give me a call. And thank you very kindly. And thank you, Anthony, for
I know it's been a long night. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging in there. I get 2 more giveaways. We'll do them really quick, and then you can hang around or head back. But thanks again.